Welcome to Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where we look back at the precious television shows and special movies of your past and ask what were your parents thinking, even letting you watch them in the first place, and probably justifying their concerns. I am Jason Mitchell. I'm here with my co-host,
Darth Jader.
And tonight we are going to be reviewing a movie that Gene...
And I'm already laughing because we're watching it in studio.
It's a movie that Gene Siskel described as saying, I wish that I had rated Dumb and Dumber a little higher because then I'd have someplace to stick this movie.
Oh, he clearly didn't have the Alf to Seinfeld ratio working for him.
No. This is a movie that has been used to encourage terrorists to confess.
Shut up. Shut your face, Jason.
And of course, for those of you who haven't already guessed it, I'm talking about the 1995 motion picture starring Sir Adam Sandler, Billy Madison.
Woo!
And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to tell us a little bit about this epic, this sprawling piece of cinema verite.
Interesting. It sounds like you and the word epic have some catching up to do. But welcome back, listeners. It's your co-host, it's Darth Jader, here to tell Jason to stop being so crotchety and old and to jump on board immediately because Billy Madison is one of my most beloved movies from my childhood. If for nothing than its quotability alone and its silly scenarios, because as Jason mentioned, our whole premise is, we fell in love with movies as kids that we should not have been allowed to watch in the first place.
No, as a kid, you should not. I mean, I not to, spoil anything, but the answer is no, you shouldn't have been allowed to watch it.
No, 100% we shouldn't have been allowed to watch this. My parents were pretty cool about that when I was growing up, honestly. They weren't into censorship. They basically told us growing up, okay, you can read whatever you want, you can watch whatever you want, but as soon as we start seeing you displaying any sort of behavior that we know you learned from an R-rated movie or a book of some sort, we're going to have a different discussion.
Yeah, so no hunting sharks, no busting ghosts,
no, none of that
stuff.
No chasing imaginary penguins around your dad's palatial estate. None of that. So, which is about to happen in Billy Madison.
I wish I could say I've never done that. I can't, though.
Well,
it wasn't an estate. I can't say because it was not an estate.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, anyway, the basic synopsis of Billy Madison, I know this movie so well that I don't even have to read the Google synopsis, is Billy Madison's dad owns a very big, important hotel company.
Hang on. You have to say who plays Billy Madison's dad because he is one of the greatest, most beloved actors. Seriously.
No, take it away.
Darren McGavin.
There you go.
Darren McGavin. Kolchak, the Night Stalker, the dad from A Christmas Story, and the one guy in that one episode of The X-Files.
The one, I think that last credit is his most important by far.
I can't remember his name. Yeah. Well, because
dad?
Yeah.
The character's name.
The character, yeah, because because he didn't have it. He didn't have a name in A Christmas Story. He was just the old man.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, he was the old man.
I don't even remember him as the old man. I remember him as the man with the leg lamp. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
But so the essential synopsis after we've gotten over Billy Madison's dad is his dad does own a very big, important hotel chain, and his son Billy, Adam Sandler, is a complete screw up and just lackadaisical, lazy, hang around who doesn't do anything, and he wants to take over his dad's company, and he finds that his dad is going to pass the company off to Eric, one of his, executives.
Eric Q, henchman / bad guy.
Yeah, and I've seen Eric in this, and I think
he's
one episode of Parks and Recreation, Bradley...
Yeah, he was in Parks and Rec. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Bradley Whitford. No, he's kind of a good character actor. He shows up every so often, and I always recognize his face, but I specifically remember him from this, obviously. And then you have Carl, who is the other executive in the dad's company, Larry Hankin. Yeah. And the only other place I can remember Larry Hankin being in, or the only other credit I remember, is when he plays Mr. Heckles on Friends. He's their crazy downstairs neighbor.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. He's the crazy, almost homeless-looking neighbor who knocks on Monica and Rachel's door all the time. And he'll come up and say something crazy like, "You're disturbing my birds." And Rachel and the girls are like, "You don't have birds." And he's like, "I could have birds." And that's where I remember Larry Hankin from primarily, besides this.
Well, and possibly the best actor in the whole movie, though, is actually the guy who plays Pete the gardener in the very beginning of the movie. The guy who tells him there's no penguin.
"No, Mr. Madison, there's no penguin."
His name is Harant Alianak. And he's a character.
Out of nowhere.
Well, no, he is. He's a character actor. He was in... he was one of the members of the ensemble cast of A Nero Wolfe Mystery, the Timothy Hutton produced series on A&E.
Okay.
Which was super cool because it had, I mean, besides Timothy Hutton and Maury Chaykin and all these other guys, it had a bunch of great actors, including, and I can't remember his name right now, but the principal from Back to the Future and the... I guess he was an admiral or a captain in Top Gun. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we discussed him him on the Back to the Future episode.
Yeah, and it's great because they played different characters every episode.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not to interrupt my awesome synopsis, but it turns out that Billy's dad is going to hand over the hotel chain to Eric unless Billy can go back grades through kindergarten through senior high school
through
year.
12. Yeah, through 12.
K through 12, and prove himself worthy, because apparently his dad paid off all of his teachers to give him good grades back in the day. Yeah, because
apparently he graduated with honors.
Yes. And his dad cheated him through a spelling bee. And just completely bought his education. But what I really, when you look back at this movie, you just don't understand, why is somebody who just graduated from high school, why does that equip him to run a hotel chain? It seems like a more complex business than that.
It really does. And it's interesting, too, because the bad guy's whole point
is rather valid.
It is valid, and he actually justifies himself repeatedly by saying, well, there's 55,000 or 65,000 people who work for this company. What are they going to do whenever Billy destroys it?
And it's a very simple argument, because Eric is asking Mr. Madison, "Are you willing to bet all of those people's livelihoods on this?" And he's basically like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Yeah. So he just really wants his son to actually succeed. But meanwhile, Billy's in the bathtub arguing with himself over the different qualifications of shampoo versus conditioner.
He is doing all the things that made us so tired of Adam Sandler.
Hey, now, this is before anybody ever got tired of Adam Sandler.
Well, look, I mean, Adam Sandler, if you look at movies, like, I think personally Happy Gilmore is a better movie.
As far as like actual plot and how things pan out, I could agree with that, because this movie has a bit of an off-the-wall ending where Eric pulls a gun and then everything gets resolved very quickly, whereas Happy Gilmore was a very clear present mission of him trying to win enough money to buy his grandma's house, and then he eventually does, and all is right in the end.
Yeah, and I think Adam Sandler, I think that the range that he was, where he was at in Happy Gilmore was much more relatable. He was much closer to being a normal human being in Happy Gilmore than in Billy Madison. I mean, Billy Madison, he is borderline retarded. Not that that's a bad thing.
Okay.
But let's put it in context of putting you in charge of a major corporation.
I don't know. He was kind of an idiot in Happy Gilmore too, because he wants to be a hockey player, and he can't even skate. So I don't even.
And white dudes can't play hockey. Oh, wait, am I thinking?
I was about to say, what sport are you thinking of? Because it's definitely not hockey. I think hockey is primarily white dudes from what I've seen.
What's interesting about Adam Sandler in this? When this movie came out, Adam Sandler was not an established property.
No, he wasn't an A-lister yet,
right?
For sure.
And what was fascinating to me, because I went back and I watched the Siskel and Ebert review of this movie, and surprise, surprise, they both hated it.
Shocking, yeah.
And in fact, they actually kept, and I never saw the review, but they referred to the review of Dumb and Dumber, and they said, after watching this, I'm starting to feel like we were too hard on Dumb and Dumber, which I actually think is a great movie.
You literally just said that about 4 minutes ago.
Well, no. He said, I wish we'd rated it higher so that I'd have a place to stick this movie.
God. But hey, I think this movie actually asks some hard-hitting questions. They're at the burger joint, and Norm Macdonald, who we haven't even brought up yet, one of Billy's drunken pool friends, looks at Billy and goes, "Hey, Billy, who would you rather bone, Meg Ryan or Jack Nicholson?" And Billy's response is hysterical because he goes, "Jack Nicholson now or 1974?" And then he still has to think about it before coming to the conclusion of Meg Ryan.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that if you ask that today,
Jack Nicholson,
it would be 74 Jack Nicholson easy.
Not even
not even a question there.
The day doesn't even matter to me. Jack Nicholson, 100%.
Because you talk about putting something on your tombstone, you know.
You did Jack Nicholson?
Yeah. John Smith, born then, died then, did Jack Nicholson.
There you go.
Or got did by Jack Nicholson. Probably that's more,
I was about to say, you'd probably be the catcher on that, in that equation.
But what was interesting, though, in the Siskel and Ebert thing was they were talking about Adam Sandler, and they both said the same thing, which is so interesting in retrospect because they were it didn't pan out this way. They both said that Adam Sandler, if he wanted to be, if he wants to be somebody who is continually in movies, Adam Sandler needs to be the villain.
Really?
They said it's very obvious from these movies that he's been in that he's got a great potential to be a villain. But as a leading man or as a protagonist, he just is irritating as can be. And I always thought, God, what if he had taken that to heart? Imagine, and Adam Sandler, if you're listening, and I know you are.
I love you, Adam.
Because you're, I'm sure you just wrapped on a Netflix movie and you've got until at least 8:30 tonight before you start the next one.
Quit being so bitter.
You should be a villain. I want to see Adam Sandler as just a full-on, hardcore bad guy. Batman versus Adam Sandler.
I could actually kind of see that, where I could almost see him in the Riddler's uniform from Val Kilmer. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If they did,
let's do a reimagine Actman with Adam Sandler as a villain in a Batman movie.
You know what? You're not. I would see that. I would see Adam Sandler as the Riddler.
Not that Adam Sandler would necessarily do a better job than Jim Carrey, because Jim Carrey pretty much nailed it.
God, that movie was awful, though.
It wasn't any worse than Batman versus Robin. I mean, I'm pretty sure George Clooney physically, literally reimbursed people with $8 whenever they mentioned that he saw that damn thing.
Batman and Robin, not Batman versus Robin.
It felt about versus Batman and Robin.
That would have been much better if he would have just beat the crap out of
Chris O'Donnell.
Because I'd pay to see George Clooney beat the crap out of Chris O'Donnell.
I'm not sure either of them have ever punched another human being in their entire
I would
lives.
pay to see Reese Witherspoon beat up Chris O'Donnell.
Why? What does she have anything to do with? I think you're thinking about Alicia Silverstone, who was Batgirl.
I
You just have a specific fantasy about Reese Witherspoon beating up Chris O'Donnell?
Well, Reese Witherspoon beating up anybody.
Why?
Because then you have to say you got beat up by Reese Witherspoon. She's so sweet.
I think you just want to be beat up by Reese Witherspoon, but whatever.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Oh, is this on? Crap.
Oh, God.
The mute button isn't working.
We took a twisted little turn there, but thanks. And we haven't even gotten around to the great Chris Farley, who does make an awesome appearance in this movie as one of my favorite characters, to be perfectly honest.
It's hard to watch Chris Farley nowadays without being a little sad, though.
Yeah, you get a little nostalgic.
Well, the best laughs in the whole movie, though. I mean, for me, the only laughs in the whole movie.
The maid?
No, Steve Buscemi.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
that's going to be the funniest gag in the entire movie when we get around to him.
It's the most intelligent gag, and it's Steve Buscemi who manages to say almost nothing. He's got like 2 lines.
Yeah, that's true. But
and he nails it.
He does.
When he puts the lipstick on and lays back on the couch, the look on his
Blue
face.
Blue days, black nights. It's just that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, my God. It's a great moment. But for me, one of the most memorable things, probably because I was a kid when I did first see this movie, is because I would have been about I was definitely single digits in 1995, but I loved the fact that Billy's housemaid, Juanita, kept hitting on him, like not even hitting on him, sexually harassing him.
It kind of, I mean, it does make you wonder what went on in the past. When Billy was younger.
Oh goodness. I wasn't going to take it to that level, but
Well, 'cause that's actually how I interpreted it the first time she said it. Because she just says it so casually. Do you want me to lift my shirt up, or do you want me to?
Do you want me to take my shirt off?
Yeah. And it's almost like, as I've done many times before to make you feel better. Like that's kind of what it felt like.
But he's just. He kind of takes it in stride, because I guess that's what happens when dudes get sexually harassed, because y'all aren't afraid of being physically killed with somebody's bare hands. So there's that. But one of the first things she says is kind of innocuous, when she's first packing up his lunch for his first day of school. And he's bitching at her because he's like, Juanita, I like snack pack. Why won't you just give me a snack pack? And she goes, I thought I was your snack pack. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And she's just like, nothing. And just sort of flits away from him.
Yeah. But they play it very deftly.
Oh, it's happening right now.
Yeah, they
in
play
case y'all keep up with us in the studio.
There's no like racial stereotyping. It's not like she suddenly can sing very well. Oh, wait. No, they actually do that.
Well, I mean, the fact that her name is Juanita and she's like a large black lady, I'm not that to me is a juxtaposition in of itself, because Juanita is a Latina name.
Maybe it's a fake name and she has like a super awesome backstory, and like the whole Juanita thing is like an assumed identity.
It must be, because according to you, she's on the sex offenders register, so she'd have to have changed her name.
Chicks can't be on the sex offender register. That's just for guys.
I'm going to kick you in the face. But this is a great moment right here when Billy goes off to his first day of school.
Or just all ugly women.
Oh, shut up. Get out. But yeah, this is a great moment with Billy's first day of school, because he agrees to do the K through 12 thing to get his dad's company. And the bus, not only, it just breezes right past him, because he's a 30-something-year-old man holding a lunchbox and waiting for the bus.
Scooby-Doo lunchbox.
Oh, is it Scooby-Doo? That's awesome.
I think it's Scooby-Doo.
But he sings this little song that my dad used to make me sing on the first day of school every year. He'd be like, Jay, do the Billy Madison song where he's like, oh, back to school, back to school.
And we have, am I right? That's Pete Sampras's wife.
Bridget, what is her name?
I believe it is.
The beautiful blonde teacher. Who,
by the way, was the one one person in the whole movie that Siskel and Ebert complimented.
Really?
She and this, I think, was her first movie. And she did a great job, even having...
Oh, yeah. Bridget Williams Sampras. Yes.
Yeah, I think she... Yeah. Unless there's another Sampras. But why would you take that name?
I've not heard of one. But
sorry, Pete Sampras. Please don't beat me up.
Beat him up. I'll take bets on it. It'll be amazing.
Bring it, Pete Sampras. I got John McEnroe's phone number.
Oh, God.
He owes me one.
And Johnny McEnroe can jump over cars.
Oh, my God. That's
another Adam Sandler classic.
That's the movie. John McEnroe and Pete Sampras as superheroes.
Oh, God.
Imagine John McEnroe as a superhero. He'd just, like, cuss everybody until they died.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he's long-winded enough to make it happen.
It's like watching my 9-year-old son play tennis, He does the same thing with just slightly less obscenities.
Yeah. But we've come up to the point where Billy is in his first day of first grade, and it doesn't start off super well. The teacher, Miss Lippy, is quite possibly one of the creepiest characters in this. Of course you do.
I like her.
She's
when
so
she's like,
freaking
when
creepy.
she's putting the glue on her face.
Yeah, she's literally just coating her face with elementary school glue, and you're like, what the hell?
You know that's what your first grade teacher was doing, right? When you guys weren't there.
See, I thought kids were eating the paste in first grade. I didn't think the teachers were coating their faces with it.
No, first grade teachers are all messed up.
Oh, God.
Every one of them. It's like a rule.
But, yeah, Billy's got a great first impression with one of the little girls, or I think it's this little girl walks up to him because they're sitting down for story time, and she just looks at him and goes, "You've got a misshaped head." And he's like, "Yeah, thanks, okay."
Well, and to be fair... He does.
Does he? Yeah, I've never paid that much attention to his head, but they read a story that actually comes full circle in the plot of the movie.
I do agree with him on this, by the way.
The puppy who lost his way.
Yeah. The kid. I mean, an hour.
Oh yeah, he goes off on this
I agree
tirade
with
about
him.
like
Totally
this-
agree with him.
Yeah, he's like, Miss Lippy, the part of the story I don't like is where he looks for his puppy for an hour and just gives up. Meanwhile, all the other kids have fallen asleep and just zoned out of the story. And he's like, you get your ass out there and you find that effing dog. He's just losing his mind over this kid's book, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, well, he's right. I do. It's a little glimpse into, maybe there is a little bit of intellect to him. It's not. It's an Adam Sandler movie. What am I talking about?
Well, what's great is that he's this like lays about kind of guy with no responsibilities, and he's preaching about the responsibilities of owning a pet. It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, Adam Sandler kind of did this before Family Guy ever did, where in his movies, they do these random cutaways or these random bits that don't move the plot along at all. They do nothing for the story, but they're there anyway.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is. But oh my God, the epic dodgeball scene that we're coming up on right now.
Yes, where it really does look like children were hurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder that
Yeah.
they incorporate the sound when somebody gets punched in the face,
Yeah.
where it's that hard
Oh, yeah.
packing meat sound or whatever. But and you get another plot point with the first ginger kid who bullies Billy and yells, "O'Doyle rules!" And that becomes a thing throughout every grade. So Billy goes back inside to find Miss Lippy because he's out of the dodgeball game, and she's like seizing to sitar music in the middle of her classroom.
Yeah, she is. She's my favorite character.
Is she really?
She
I
really
thought
is,
Steve
yeah.
Buscemi was your favorite. Now Miss Lippy has
No,
taken the crown.
Miss Lippy. Yeah. Well, Steve Buscemi. He's Steve Buscemi. I mean,
He's his own entity.
Yeah. You don't beat him. Oh, he is. I think that God probably
Made him out of different materials.
No.
than the rest
I
of
think
us.
that God looks like Steve Buscemi. I think when you die.
Oh,
you know,
isn't he playing God in some project or something?
he might
right
well
now?
be. Yeah. He might. Yeah.
I think Daniel Radcliffe is like one of his angel assistants or something.
Oh, now you lost me.
I'm on it. Hey, don't diss Harry Potter. But it doesn't matter. But yeah, so Billy goes back outside because Miss Lippy kicks him out of her dancing session. She's like, Billy, dodgeball time is a special time, not just for you kids, but for Miss Lippy too. And it's
Yeah,
just, she's
no
so
shit.
creepy. But he goes outside and catches the ball when the O'Doyle kid tries to chuck it at him. And then he just like annihilates all these teeny little first graders in dodgeball. And it's just absolutely savage.
Which is funny because I can tell you, whenever I was playing dodgeball as a kid, we'd have taken his ass out.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we were serious about dodgeball.
Even as first graders?
Yeah, he's a big target.
Well, yeah,
He's
he
a big.
is.
We would have cleaned his clock.
It's true. Like, you would have thrown however
We were
you could.
vicious with dodgeball.
Well, that was because we were the generation before dodgeball got banned.
Yeah.
It was too divisive.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I don't even know. They got rid of Red Rover in schools now, too.
What?
Yeah, Red Rover.
Oh,
send Jason on over because it was too violent.
Because of Indians, like Native Americans, or
No, because the kids are running through each other's arms and hurting each other. And it's like, okay, what kind of pansy-ass children are we raising these days where they can't even play Red Rover? Because, yeah, I got injured in dodgeball, and
yeah,
here's
you
the
got
thing.
injured. Of course you did.
You got injured in dodgeball because you were good at it. And
Yeah.
let me explain what I mean. If you were good at dodgeball, you were dodging so hard that you skinned your knees and your
Yeah.
elbows on the asphalt to get the hell away from that bright red ball.
And
that's how you play
Yeah,
dodgeball.
and if you were good at dodgeball, you were the king. And everybody in first grade knows if you go after the king, you better come loaded.
Yep, you better have a backup plan.
Yeah.
Like 40 times, like plans B through Z. You better
Yeah.
have that planned out. But yeah, like you
Pete
come home.
Sampras, John McEnroe playing dodgeball, and
Adam Sandler's the bad guy.
somehow Samuel L. Jackson is in there too.
I'm tired of dodging these mother effing balls. Like, I know that would come up at some point.
Balls.
That's oh lordy. But yeah, so I don't know. I think we were just one of the last few hardcore generations that played games with everything that we had.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I was a kid, every single birthday party, literally every birthday party, was at the skating rink.
Oh, heck yeah.
And basically the point of the skating rink was knocking people to the ground while other people were, skating around them and could take fingers off.
Now that I don't remember.
Oh, it was... No,
That's
it was,
pretty savage.
No, it was like rollerball when I was a kid.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, and you'd have that one kid who couldn't skate, and he'd always, end up on the ground, and no one was out there helping him.
See, what most of you don't realize is that Jason's actually a woman who professionalized in roller derby in the 90s.
I wish. Those broads are tough. I wish I was that tough.
Oh my god, yeah, I couldn't hang.
There's no way. They'd kill me.
For sure. But yeah, Adam Sandler does get busted. He's trying to flirt with some hot mom outside of the school, and he's pretending like he doesn't attend school, that he works for the buses.
Daddy's in jail.
He won't be out for a long, long time. And
I have so many VD.
Oh god. But yeah, then Miss Lippy comes out with all the crafts that Adam Sandler made in class that day, and he's like, "Thank you very much, Miss Lippy."
Well, that's because she wants to sabotage it, because she wants to get some of that.
Oh, no, not Miss Lippy, the principal. When he gets into 5th grade, Miss Lippy never had a crush on Billy. It's all Principal Sanderson or whatever.
She didn't want to go to sleep listening to that Hanukkah song.
Oh my yarmulke.
Which, to be fair to Adam Sandler, that is a really, really...
I was about to say, don't even try to dump sack on that one. That one's great.
I don't remember the name of the album. It might have been called Adam Sandler.
I think the first one was.
Was it? Yeah. That was a really, really good album,
Yes, it was.
To be fair to Adam Sandler, and other people have said this, it's a paycheck now. I mean, he gets a deal to do a movie. He does a movie. They give him a lot of money.
Well, it's not even that. He's actually moved on. He just recently released a Netflix comedy special where it was a lot of songs. So completely unique. One of them was called Cauliflower Ears. So that was fascinating about UFC fighters.
Yeah.
So there's
not a segment that I want to piss off on this program.
No,
UFC fighters.
UFC fighters. We're all about you guys.
We love ultimate football college fight. What is it?
Yeah, throw the ball, win the game. You guys, you're awesome. We love you.
No, what is it? Ultimate
field, Fried Chicken League.
You guys are awesome. Please don't beat me up.
No, we did miss. It's not even a meet cute. We missed where Billy, not where he meets Bridget Sampras.
Oh, the penis duck.
No, he's not a penis duck. He's a blue duck.
Yeah, but come on, look at it.
Okay, I'm looking at it. I can't see it. Did I miss it already? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's this moment. He's still in Miss Lippy's class, and
she got the tomato pin. I had a teacher with the tomato pin.
Oh my god, really?
Seriously. No, I remember that.
That duck doesn't look anything like a penis, Jason.
Come on.
But I love his justification behind it, because Miss Lippy comes up and looks at his drawing, and he says, "I drew the duck blue because I've never seen a blue duck, and to be honest with you, I've always wanted to see a blue duck," and that's what helps him pass the 1st grade.
Do you know if I won the lottery, if I had a magic wand, I can make anything happen. Do you know what I would do?
Make a blue duck.
No. Well, yes, obviously.
Fight ghosts with Dan Aykroyd.
Again, obviously.
I could do this all day, Jason.
Billy Madison, okay?
Oh, God.
Read aloud by Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog doing the I am the shampoo, I make the hair clean. For I am the conditioner, I leave the hair silky smooth.
Oh, really, fool.
The existential questions.
About which substance is
I
better
made
on your
the
hair.
duck blue because I wish to see what a blue duck would look like.
There gotta be some sort. Oh, in this horrific moment, one of those. So what they do whenever Billy passes a grade, because he spends 2 weeks in each grade, and they throw a massive party at his father's mansion.
Yeah, so they...
And inexplicably, there's this clown on stilts, and he gets knocked over by some children or something, and busts his head on the cement, and literally starts bleeding out of his mouth, and no one does anything about it. And then that's it, as far as we know. We come back to him later, but they just leave him.
He's in the song later.
Yes,
but that's not real.
The also inexplicable song.
Yeah, that was an odd...
It was a very odd
choice.
Yeah,
that's a weird shoehorn,
It was. But you were pointing to the scene where Eric is bribing
Rollo, the janitor. That guy, I know I've seen him in something else before.
Probably, but I couldn't tell you what. But
we're both too lazy to look it up right now, so if you're listening to this, send us an email And
yeah, actually try sending us an email to one of the many emails that
I've
sprinkled about, because we're definitely willing
we're like
to hear
the
from you
Odessa
guys.
Files. You'll never find us.
As long as you can find us. If you can find us after all the confusion that I put out there on the World Wide Web, you deserve to talk to us. I will write back.
You guys need to, we're going to plug the social media stuff right now because you need to you need to show a little bit more commitment. We've got people they're pulling their weight. They followed us. They've liked us.
Yeah, I think we jumped up 3 followers this weekend.
I think so.
It was epic.
I think so. Most of that is my boss-ass pictures of my scale models, though. I mean, to be fair.
And it's a lot of Jason and I retweeting ourselves from our other Twitter accounts. So help us to stop feeling so sad and lonely.
Yeah, it's almost like social media is kind of...
Played out?
Yeah, played out a little bit. Because that's the thing. I've talked to people and I've said... I've said, listen to the show and then go on Twitter or Facebook. And I'm not kidding you. I've said this to at least 5 people. I've said, go listen to our show and then, do me a favor, go on Twitter or on Facebook and, like us or make a comment or something like that. And every single one of the 5 people have said, I'm not on either Twitter or Facebook.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Our biggest fan, Katie, who was on our Mummy episode, actually reactivated her Twitter to help us out on that. So that's commitment, listeners. Get on Katie's level and share us with your coworkers like she does at her famous home goods store job. We can't name it because it's too big of a name where she works.
It's not Restoration Cardware.
Exactly.
No, get on Friend Face and with your blue teeth and whatever, and tell us.
With your gadgets and your gizmos from 1985 or 2015.
Send us a telegram.
Whatever year you're in.
Yeah. And let us know that you love us. And one thing that I would love to hear from the audience is, and we've gotten some input, but it's all come through email, so, it doesn't end up showing up on the social media feeds. Give us some suggestions for things that you would like to hear us talk about. Some movies, TV shows, things like that.
For sure.
As long as they're not absolutely terrible. And to be fair, the ones we've gotten have been pretty bad.
Hey.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Whoa.
I'm not kidding.
The one person who emailed us with suggestions. We love you.
They were great.
Okay, you got to stop doing that.
Okay.
What? And now I'm spacing on even where that's from.
Don't destroy school property. Destroy school property.
You said
Bob's
Topsy.
Burger.
Topsy. Yeah, okay, I know I'm with you now.
That's it.
It took me a second, but yes. So in that note, you can reach us at Darth_Jader_ or at Hindsight Horror or at North Foggy if you want to scream at Jason for making fun of you guys so hard.
And you can see, if you want to see a scale model of James Cameron, 1/48th scale James Cameron, go to... I didn't mean for it to come out like that. It just ended up... It looks like James Cameron is flying a little airplane.
And he's holding a plate of James Cameronian rings.
Oh, yeah.
That just happened. I did 2 Rick and Mortys.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're welcome.
That's awesome.
You took it from Bob's Burgers, and I just took it on over to...
And if you don't know Rick and Morty or Bob's Burgers, why are you listening to this show?
We talk about them more than we talk about our own subject materials.
So anyway, Avatar. Billy Madison.
Yeah, that thing. No, we just missed a fantastic moment because Billy obviously has a crush on Veronica Vaughn, the beautiful blonde teacher, Mr. Sampers's wife in real life. And she... kicks him out of her class the first day that he's there because he makes fun of this poor kid with a stutter for trying to learn how to read. The kid is sitting there just stuttering, and Billy yells at him, "Today, Junior!"
Yeah, that is pretty.
It's pretty
dick of Billy Madison there. That's not a very sympathetic moment for him.
But she pulls a completely cliche moment and grabs him literally by the ear and drags him out of her class. And then we do run into that awesome moment where he's telling Juanita, the sexual harassing housekeeper, about it. He's like, this teacher's a total hard ass. She kicked me out of her class. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. You want me to take my shirt off for you? And he's like, no, thanks. I'm good.
No, that won't help.
Imagine. Yeah, it just, so he's clearly we've got his love interest for the movie, for sure. And
who definitely has, she's got an interest in him, but she does make him work for it.
Well, they kind of skip right ahead to it because she treats him like crap on the first day, and then the next day catches him drawing a naughty picture of her in the middle of class, where he even gives her character like a little speech bubble where it says, "I want you, Billy," in it.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "Hey,
no, it
Billy."
says, "Do me, Billy."
Oh, does it?
Yeah, "Do me, Billy," yeah.
Oh, you're right, because the principal's Valentine
Yeah.
later is the one that says, "I want you, Billy." And the principal's very clearly gay. And then we run into another O'Doyle Rules kid, because they pop up throughout the entire...
Oh my god, this is how I dressed when I was a kid. I'm looking at all these kids and I'm thinking...
Yeah, they've got some pretty 80s attire going on.
Well, there's a misconception, the 80s lasted till about 1995.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
My grandma used to dress me in those swishy windbreaker outfits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
With
yeah.
White Keds shoes. There's a great meme out there with an entire family in those suits where it's like the wind didn't stand a chance.
Yeah.
And that's how we used to dress back in our day, listeners. But
I mean, we had, clothes like skids, jabots, hammer pants.
Spice Girl platform shoes, jellies, press-on sticker earrings.
Yeah.
Plastic hair clips that didn't hold your hair for shit. So
slap bracelets that eventually...
Slap bracelets!
Yeah, that eventually wore down and just cut your wrists.
Yes.
Yeah,
After you slapped your skin raw with them.
Yeah, literally. You would have red marks on your skin.
It was like giving yourself an Indian burn. I think that was the pitch at the original meeting for that toy. How can a kid give himself an Indian burn?
We're not supposed to use that term anymore.
No, we're not supposed to say Indian giving anymore. We can say Indian burn.
Well, Seinfeld said it, but then he got in trouble. So.
But that's why they're on the top of the scale. They still get away with stuff that they shouldn't have gotten rid of. Which apparently younger kids these days are starting to watch Seinfeld and they're coming out thinking that it's horribly racist. And
if you watch Seinfeld and you think it's racist...
Stop listening.
Just go away. Yeah, literally.
Join Japan and New Zealand and every other country we've insulted. The Aussies are the only ones strong enough to hang with us anymore.
Amen. Yeah, the Aussies, there are... Wait, have we insulted New Zealand? We did.
You did.
I did.
Because you were saying that all these
yeah.
New Zealander things were Australian things.
Right.
And I was like, Jason.
Kangaroos and Fosters and
Mordor.
And Mordor.
But that's actually New Zealander. Because you started off with like the Mordor example and then you started... listing all these Australian things as New Zealand things, I think it was.
Yeah,
it was one or the other, where you got it backwards.
Look, New Zealand gave us one of the greatest cultural jewels of the 21st century.
Shark Party?
Two. Flight of the Conchords.
Yes, of course.
Flight of the Conchords, the greatest novelty band in all of New Zealand.
I had to explain in a roundabout fashion who they were to my cousin's child. She came to stay with me this weekend to crash for the weekend, and
how old is she?
She's 16,
and what is her father's line of work?
Hush.
And what television program did you let her?
He's a crack dealer, and I let her watch Rick and Morty, so it's really not that crazy. No, he's a preacher, and she watched Rick and Morty, so I was like, is your mom going to be mad at me for letting you have me watch this? And she was like, no. And I said, okay.
But it's okay. Don't tell anyone, okay, guys?
Yeah, just it's our secret, Australia.
This is between us.
They don't know anybody in Australia, so I think we're safe. But no, she came over.
Bit of footy? Yeah.
But we got around to the New Zealand explanation because I had to think of what she would relate to because which Flight of the Conchords guy plays Fart on Rick and Morty?
Jermaine.
Yes. I had to explain to her who that was because I was like, okay, you don't know who Flight of the Conchords
so great.
is. I was like, ooh, I know what you would know him from. Have you ever seen Moana? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, he's that big giant crab with all the treasures that he's guarding.
I was thinking the Muppets.
No, because I don't think she's really into the Muppets. But I was
that's satanic.
Well, it's all those puppets that live in the barrio. They don't really lead by example. One of them even lives in a trash can, and the other one is on so many drugs that he hallucinates a heffalump. Or not
God.
A heffalump. What is Snuffleupagus? A mammoth? Like
he's
so hairy.
Heffalumps are Winnie the
Pooh,
yeah.
and they're purple.
Yeah,
but either way.
But probably also drug related, if we're being totally honest here.
Just like Billy Madison.
Or Woozles. Oh yeah, Billy Madison.
That movie that we're watching. But yeah, so it's just kind of a friendly little montage where Billy's going through his different grades, but He's happiest, obviously, in Veronica Vaughn's class, but they go on a field trip, and that's where we get to see the awesome Chris Farley as the bus driver.
Yeah, the late Chris Farley.
The late, great Chris, yep. And he's just an abused bus driver. They throw sandwiches and stuff at him, and he just screams at all the students on his bus. Just, oh, I will turn this damn bus around. That would end your precious little field trip. He's just about to explode.
Wow, that guy died of a heart attack?
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, cocaine-induced heart attack, but a heart attack nonetheless.
Wow. God, it's still sad. It's so sad, though, because, I mean, you know, you watch... It's sort of like watching John Candy movies. You know, I mean, I know that by this point, John Candy would be a very pretty old guy anyway.
Yeah, he made it kind of into his upper years at
least.
John
Chris
Candy
Farley
at least. In his, 30s, 40s?
Yeah, he was young when he died. Yeah.
But just another reason why we should not have been allowed to watch this movie. The kids are on the bus. And
he sexually assaults her.
Yeah, on
flat out.
On purpose.
Flat out.
Because a third grader dares him to.
But it's okay because she liked it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that.
Well, she wears skirts, and she was clearly asking for it.
Oh, she's obviously asking for it.
Oh, yeah. No, but that's what's so messed up.
She shops at the Elaine Bennis, collection at oh God, what was that 80s store? That was going to be great.
It
Gimbals.
Was. Gimbals.
I'm going to edit that down so the timing is better.
Oh, cheater. But yeah, we shouldn't have been allowed to watch this because seriously, it's even from one of the kids. He's like, "I dare you to touch her boobs," and Adam Sandler turns around. And he's like, "Touch her boobs? That's assault, brother."
Yeah, but he actually says
that is assault. And he does it anyway. And then because she heard the whole thing, she's like, "Why don't you sit down, Billy? I double dare you."
Well, look at the skirt she's wearing.
It's above her knees. Obviously. Scandalous.
Yeah, she's asking for it.
But 100%. Oh my God. But so Chris Farley, there's another really interesting bit of foreshadowing because Chris Farley is eating a banana and he throws the peel out the window and it becomes ridiculously important to the plot, but in a very small kind of way.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to ask that because to be fair, whenever I was rewatching this, I skipped most of it. I think I watched the whole movie in 30 minutes.
Oh God, these kids' clothes are so 80s. You're right about that. But okay, the plot of that.
Well, the car that goes off the cliff.
The O'Doyle family.
Who are they?
The O'Doyles. So that's what I was mentioning a minute ago. Is that in almost it's not every single grade, but almost every grade that Billy goes through, there's a ginger kid either pelting him with a ball or smashing something on his head and bullying him and raising their hands over their head and going, "O'Doyle rules." So then at the end of the movie,
they all die.
Yeah, it's the station wagon full of the O'Doyles.
They're all dead now.
Because they hit the banana peel in the middle of the road that Chris Farley left. So they skid on the banana peel and literally go over a cliff, which kind of looks like it's in the middle of the Grand Canyon, but I don't really know.
Yeah, because we don't know where this movie is.
No, I don't think they really focus on the location too much. You do have a sweet kind of redeeming / gross moment here, though, where they are on their field trip.
It is sweet.
It is very sweet.
It's sweet.
Where Ernie, Billy's very Harry Potter-looking little friend in, I can't remember which grade. I think this is the 3rd grade. And so Ernie pees his pants on accident, and so then Adam Sandler...
Well, we assume.
No, because he's hiding against the wall. But Adam Sandler then puts a bunch of water on his crotch, and he's like, "Of course I pee my pants. Peeing your pants is the coolest."
And the teacher looks, and she shakes her head, and she goes, "Oh, it's okay that he touched my breasts."
He's the future father
consent.
of my children. That man right there.
Yeah.
And then all the kids get back on the bus, and they've all peed their pants because now they think it's a symbol of being cool.
Yeah, these kids are not bright.
They're very impressionable. They're 3rd graders.
Yeah.
I mean, and Chris Farley. She gets sexually assaulted all over the place today because Chris Farley pushes Adam Sandler back to stare up Veronica Vaughn's skirt.
I mean, obviously, if it's okay for Adam Sandler to do it, I mean, why shouldn't Chris Farley do it?
Well, Eliza Schlesinger, if I'm pronouncing that right, has such a great joke about that where when women are out in bars, she's like, "Don't you just hate it when a guy won't leave you alone and he's hitting on you? Unless, of course, he's really, really handsome." Which, oh my God, get away from me, you male model or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing about
universal.
Sex is that it's It's very different if it's an attractive person. Well, it's like we were joking before about, the idea of, people being on the sex offenders list. But I mean...
No, you were joking about that.
Well, yeah. We, the royal we.
Anyway.
But it is true. I mean, look, I have a 9-year-old boy, okay? And the other day...
Yes, he's a father.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to call DFAX, just look that number up immediately, please.
Is that what they call it in Georgia? Because those bastards in Florida, they were totally... No, I'm kidding. No. They...
You can't see my face right now, listeners, but oh my God.
No, I already told him if any man from the bank comes, he's to shoot him.
That's just because you watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou the other day.
No, but it was interesting because I actually saw a news story about a teacher who was sent to jail for many, many years and put on many lists because she had had sex with a 15-year-old student.
Okay.
No, but he's 15 years old.
We've had this discussion before because
have we?
Yeah, in a different way, because you were saying if this happened to your son, you wouldn't be that upset about it. But then if you had a daughter of the same age,
I'd
you
murder
would.
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would kill him.
That's sexist.
But if it was a female teacher, the first question would be, do you have a picture? And then I'll make my judgment accordingly.
I'll be resigning after this episode, listeners.
Because I remember being a 15-year-old kid. Trust me, it wouldn't have traumatized me.
Oh, God.
Well, to be fair, there would have been trauma from all of my friends high-fiving me and slapping me on the back so
with their
much,
slap bracelets.
Yeah, that it would have injured me. I mean, if...
Jeez. I'm not...
We're up to the weasel laugh.
No, that comes in a few minutes, but where Carl's impersonating Eric's weasel laugh. But I know what you're talking about.
And Carl is genuinely a good guy.
Oh yeah, Carl's the one who is trying to get Mr. Madison to see Billy's, good side and see his potential and say, yeah, I'll help Billy get the hang of things when he takes over the company. So Carl's kind of Billy's advocate, which is great because Eric is paying off janitors and principals to bring Billy down.
And the wrestler...
Yeah, the principal Anderson is the blob.
That's the wrestler.
He's the revolting blob, which we find out later. But, you see that the teacher, Miss Vaughn, actually really gets Billy because she comes to his party when he graduates from a
napkin.
Yeah, dressed in a napkin and gold sandals, and brings him a monstrous box of snack pack Jell-O or pudding.
And I gotta say, ladies, if you want to get, your man, that's a pretty good way of doing it.
If you want to rev his engine, you bring him a bunch of snack packs.
Dress in a napkin and bring a snack pack.
The napkin's apparently very important. I thought you were going for the snack pack.
Well, the snack pack is more important.
Oh,
if I'm perfectly honest with you.
Especially depending on your build. Because if you look like Juanita, I don't think the napkin would be terribly flattering.
Well, I mean, it's like, look, women always want to find nice sentimental gifts for their men. They make gifts for us. They're at Popeyes. Just get a bucket of it, and that is the sweetest gift we'll ever get.
Nah, I actually get Josh Rick and Morty t-shirts, and he's pleased.
That's good.
Every holiday and birthday. He loves it. He's got a Pickle Rick shirt that he's particularly fond of. So.
That is one of those... We were having a conversation before the show about how I'm absolutely contrary. As soon as anything becomes a big deal with a lot of people, I tend to just assume it's terrible.
I'm kind of the same way.
Which is why I've never watched Game of Thrones. I don't give a shit. Or Walking Dead. Don't give a shit.
Yeah, if you recommend that I do something, I'm probably not going to do it.
Pickle Rick is probably the first thing I've seen in like 20 years that everybody was crazy about, and then I saw it, and I was absolutely on board with it. God. Yeah.
Especially with Jaguar.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm going home, Pickle Man. Just God,
Pickle Rick.
I'm Pickle Rick.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
such a great show.
It's another great reason to have a 9-year-old son because you can train him to do Morty lines.
Oh, jeez, Dad.
Yeah, he does a great. Oh, jeez, Rick. Anyway, so Adam
this
Sandler's,
is the weasel laugh.
Yeah, he gets cock-blocked here.
Oh, big time, because he and Veronica start making out in his tent, which has a porn outhouse in it. He's got like a
and it's
porta potty strewn with porno mags.
Yeah, and it's obviously not on a soundstage.
No, not at all.
It's definitely not built on a soundstage somewhere.
Definitely not. But yeah, we do get to Carl's. He just did the weasel laugh because he's like, Eric, I think you need to watch out for Eric or Billy, you need to watch out for Eric because he just did that little weasel laugh. The hee!
It's a good weasel laugh.
It's a great. He does it way better than I do.
Yeah, it's really good.
But
so wait, I have a question about that scene. It is because there's all of the learning aids and the smart kid stuff in there. Was that all stuff that his dad was buying him, hoping that he would get smart?
I honestly have no idea. It's just like this random, because he moves out into this massive tent on his dad's property, and Veronica's like, do you really feel a need to be outside? Like, that's a huge house for just you and your dad. He's like, well, there's all of these people. They're all coming and going. It's a bunch of staff and people dropping in to say hey, and Juanita lives here. And hell, if Juanita and I had to share even that huge-ass house, I'd get the hell away from her, too, because she's scary.
Yeah.
But because at one point, Billy tries to pretend that he's sick and he doesn't want to go to school. And she goes, and he like cheats his thermometer to make it look like it's hotter than it is. And he's like, I swear to God, I'm sick. I can't go to school. And she's like, well, if you're going to stay home today, you can help me shave my armpits. And he's like, oh my God, I'll go to school. So,
and also, did he not watch Ferris Bueller? That's such an amateur move. You don't do the fever thing. You do the sweaty palms. Clammy palms.
The clammy hands.
Yeah, the clammy hands. Otherwise, you're going to end up in the pediatrician's office, and that's just as bad as being at school.
When you're bent over, moaning and wailing, you lick your palms. That's the Ferris Bueller way of doing it.
God, that's a good movie.
Oh, it is.
I wish we were watching that tonight.
Oh, we'll be watching it in the future with possibly the most special guest of all.
Yes. Well, not like in the entire universe. The most special guest of the guests we've had.
I mean, Thanos couldn't get rid of him when he got all the stones together, so he's one of the most special guests in the universe, for sure.
Thanos. Chuck Norris would kill him.
Probably.
He would.
But yeah. So now Billy, we've gotten to the point where Billy's kind of transitioning more quickly. They do kind of a montage where he does like 2 seconds apiece in each grade. And here's another weird bit. He's sitting with his elementary school friends for the last time because he's about to leave and go to secondary school. And they're eating sloppy joes, and there's this really creepy lunch lady.
That's just out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm serious. It was kind of like Family Guy before Family Guy ever came around, because it's so, the stuff that's included in his movies is so weird and random. She's sitting there like, I made the joes extra sloppy for you. I know how you like some sloppy. And he's like, lady,
bastards.
Yeah, he's like, lady, you're scaring us. And that's literally the whole bit. Like it.
Well, I mean, it's very much, it is like Family Guy because it's
has all these random cuts.
Well, it's Adam Sandler or Seth MacFarlane just sort of deciding, hey, it'd be funny right here.
Yeah.
And just putting it there.
Kind of like, which episode were we talking about where they would do just random slips? Oh, it was Rocko's Modern Life. The writing team would do a draw it out of the hat game where it's like, oh, give me an occupation, clown, and give me a scenario or a location. Oh, he's in a mall, and it just, I don't know. So that's how some of these clips feel, where it's like, yeah, sloppy Joe lady being weird, like, and that's all there is to it. Oh, but you do get Eric's ace up his sleeve, because he does, at one of Billy's parties, he corners Principal Anderson, who sent that wildly inappropriate and sexually explicit note to Billy on Valentine's Day.
I mean, let's analyze this. This is a guy who sent a sexually explicit Valentine.
A very elaborate one, too. It was very beautiful Valentine, but gross at the same time.
To a student in his school.
Hey, Billy's of age. No, that you're mad about?
Well, no, but
you want pictures of the...
No. Hang on. But the thing that gets him, the thing that causes him...
His downfall
is the revelation that he was a wrestler.
No, it's not the revelation that he was a wrestler. It's the revelation that he killed a guy during a stunt as a wrestler.
Oh.
He's the revolting blob, and Eric brings up this huge stunt that he did where he was sitting on another wrestler's head. And he was like, oh, the guy was supposed to pinch my leg if he was running short of air. And apparently he didn't feel the pinch, or the guy suffocated before that happened because he killed the guy in the ring.
Yeah.
So... But that's not even the big thing. Eric says, somebody who's so busy wrestling in Mexico or wherever you were, I wonder how that guy found time to get his teaching degree.
Well, that takes like a weekend, doesn't it?
to be a substitute, I think. But an actual teacher, you have to have a real degree. And
now, I do have to admit, by the way, Adam Sandler's car in this scene, you know.
Well, that's because you and Adam Sandler are the same age.
That's a friggin' awesome REO Speedwagon shirt, man. I would wear that right now.
God, you're old.
And I would totally drive that car.
And that would have been a cool entrance in the 80s. But yeah, to get back to Principal Anderson really quick, now he's being blackmailed to essentially bring Billy down.
We can't use that term anymore. Postal service.
Okay. He's being postal serviced into bringing Billy down. So, yeah, Billy shows up to his first day of high school in what kind of car was that, Jason? Because you were just drooling over it.
That was a Rockford Special.
God.
That was a Pontiac Trans Am.
I love that you know that.
Yeah.
And
same car Rockford drove, except with
Rockford Files Rockford?
Yeah, Rockford Files Rockford. Whatever damn Rockford do you know?
That's a good point.
James
Garner. Not James Garner, not Jim Rockford, James Garner. That's so easy to get those two mixed up. But yeah, and he shows up, like you said, in that REO Speedwagon shirt, and it's 1995, and he's rolling up like it's 1985.
Yeah.
And what's the song that he's playing?
I don't remember because I had the sound off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just rolling up pure 80s. And he's finding that he doesn't fit in so well in high school as he did in elementary school, to the point where he's in science class and he feels the need to distract everybody because he's whispering to the girl next to him. She's like, "Oh, you're a loser. Don't talk to me." So he messes with her and he's like, "No, I will not make out with you," and just embarrasses the crap out of her in front of the entire class.
And we've talked about that before, I think, with how awesome would it be to go back in time to when you were in high school and to have the mentality you have now, which is that, screw you, bitch.
Oh, I wouldn't. More or less. Like, if you don't like me, that's your problem. But and that we just had another O'Doyle person, because he's like we said, Adam's in the cafeteria in high school now, and this really big ginger guy comes along and...
Adam? We're on a first name basis now?
Yes, because Adam and I like each other. Just because you don't like him, that's your problem.
I think we probably, I'd like to hang out with him.
I don't know if he wants to hang out with you
I just don't want to watch any of his freaking movies.
No, he will not hang out with you. But so one of the O'Doyle kids just throws pudding on Adam Sandler's head, and that's the last one you see, I think, where O'Doyle rules. And he looks at him, and there's some more foreshadowing because he goes, "O'Doyle, I have a feeling your whole family's going down. But for now, I got to study," or something like. No, that comes later in the movie, but it still happens. So
yeah. So what are they picking on the Gingers and the Irish for? I mean, come on, man.
The O'Doyles are picking on them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, though. They're acting like, redheaded Irish people somehow are belligerent and always drunk.
Aren't they?
Well, yes, but that's
it was just St. Patty's Day.
But
we
that's
know
not
this.
the point. I know, an entire holiday.
And in case you hear me opening my cider, gang, I didn't try to do it on a metal cabinet like Jason tried to last week.
Yeah, it was really stupid too because it was a can.
Yeah, it made no sense. No, you tried to open a bottle on the steel cabinet, so that was pure talent.
Yeah, I used to do that in college all the time. Our college actually, because it was built in like 1983, back when the Kaiser was still alive.
Back in 19...
Yeah, and all of the drawer pulls, and all the hardware on everything. It was a hook with a little notch in the bottom of it. And it was like you couldn't have manufactured a better bottle opener.
Did you go to a party school? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, I actually went to a school in a dry county. I think I may have said it earlier, but the 3 times I laughed, I think it was 3.
We're coming up on one of them right now.
All 3 of them were Steve Buscemi, whoever decided to put Steve Buscemi in this movie, in this part, is a certifiable genius.
Probably Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give him that credit. But Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler at a certain point realizes that whenever he was in high school, he was a bit of a dick.
Yeah, Veronica points that out to him. She says, because he's having a hard time being in high school, and it comes from a wholesome place, because she says, well, yeah, the kids are being mean to you, but think about it this way. Maybe you weren't so nice to kids that you thought were losers back in the day when you were originally in high school.
Yeah.
So that prompts Billy to call everyone that he ever bullied in high school, which the one that we do see, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, and he's using a phone book. It's an ancient piece of technology. There used to be a book that had everyone's name in the whole town and a phone number that you could call them on and their address.
And before that, their occupation.
Yeah, and their occupation.
Which we talked about on Back to the Future. But so he does contact Steve Buscemi and he says, hey, man, this is Billy from high school. I just want to say I'm really sorry if I treated you badly or if I bullied you. And it seems like a pretty casual moment.
Well, yeah, Steve Buscemi plays it like, well, this is weird. Why is this guy calling me? Like as though he hasn't thought about him since high school.
Yeah, and he's like, it's cool, man. Yeah, no worries. But then you pan over and you see that he has a people to kill list. And he crosses Billy's name off of it right before his iconic lipstick moment.
See, what's weird about that is I have a people to kill list, but it's way longer than that.
Yeah, I keep it in my phone.
I mean,
otherwise you're just wasting paper.
Well, you know what? Maybe that's the thing is that back then he didn't have like Excel because mine's in an Excel spreadsheet of people.
Well, and that was considered a special skill back in 1995 is knowing how to work Excel.
Yeah.
But, so not only does he cross Billy off the list, he literally, there's this sappy song in the background. And he just puts on a ridiculous amount of lipstick and lays back on his couch and just mellows out.
How much lipstick?
Every woman in the world is just...
that must be a guy thing. I didn't think it was like a lot of lipstick.
Oh God, it's like a clown amount of lipstick, and he's not even looking. He's not following his lip line, ladies. It's disgusting. It's horrible.
Well, maybe it's like most things. He's a man. He can do it better.
Yeah, he can do it by feel.
I don't need a damn mirror to put lipstick on.
Mirrors? We don't need no stinking mirrors. But we get to the conflict of the Act 3 conflict where Eric has clearly post office. Is that what we're not blackmailed, but post office? Principal Anderson into saying that Billy cheated his way through school, and it prompts Billy's dad to say, oh, forget it, the deal's off. But there's a great moment where they're saying, oh, in local news, a young man who was attempting to retry school or whatever, and it's clearly Billy. It's like, a young man who was attempting to go through school again has apparently bribed his way through, and Billy's dad is like, what the hell? And Norm goes, no, now wait a minute, it might be somebody else.
Oh yeah, you watch this and you go, oh yeah, Norm Macdonald, he was a person.
Yep.
Remember Norm Macdonald?
He was the colonel for KFC for a little while.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just telling you. But the one great line...
I like RoboCop KFC guy better.
Oh my God.
Have you seen that?
No. But Norm has a fantastic line at the beginning of this movie because before Billy starts chasing the penguins around and all this other stuff, they're floating around in the pool and he's doing the little suntan lotion face on his belly. He goes, what day is it? And Norm promptly replies with, October? And he's like, it's Nudey Magazine Day. So they've got some really soulful interactions in this movie.
But I don't understand because, are they implying that he's dropping acid and they're just not showing it? Or are they saying that he gets drunk and hallucinates? Because I've never, and I've been drunk many times, I've never hallucinated a giant penguin. And
I can't say that I have either.
I wish I did. I would love that. Hallucinating is like the funnest thing in the world.
So I don't really know anything about hallucinating. I've never done that. But if you had to hallucinate, I would opt for a giant penguin.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it would probably scare the crap out of me.
Well, I don't know. Which would be scarier, a real penguin or a guy dressed in a penguin suit like in this scenario? Because real life penguins, especially during mating season, they tend to...
They smell bad, too.
I wouldn't know. I'm anosmic, so thanks for bringing up that painful thought.
You don't believe in God?
Exactly. No, I can't smell. And therefore don't believe in God. I can't smell him at all. Can you smell God? I didn't know that was a thing. But, we get back to the hallucinating penguin.
It's like sandalwood. I don't know.
You're the worst. But we get to the point where Billy goes back to his old ways because his dad is sort of dropped out on their agreement. And he goes back to dump sacking his neighbors. Yeah. And he comes to Veronica's house and hallucinates the penguin at her house, thinking that she's cheating on him with his made-up penguin.
Yeah.
And so the next day she shows up in some very 90s sneakers.
Yeah, she is the young, attractive woman who is wearing shoes that mainly
Meg Ryan wore back in all
Adam
of her
Sandler
romantic comedies.
Definitely.
With,
this is an example of Adam Sandler's, real creative
his artistic
investment. Yeah, this was,
his artistic weigh-in on what kind of shirt Veronica should wear to beat the crap out of him in
he
a
was
pool.
sitting in a chair with his legs crossed and his hand to his chin pensively going, this scene is missing something. It's missing something, but I can't tell what it is. I know. Almost nudity.
Yes. Well, in the 90s, that's as, close as you could really get, especially with a quote-unquote family movie like Billy Madison, which is not a family movie at all. You see all these beer cans and drinking.
Actually, it's sort of surprising that they don't have sort of the, 80s gratuitous one-shot, this is the sort of movie they would do that in.
Yeah.
Because back in the 80s, you would have that. There would just be the one shot of the naked woman just to bump the rating up.
No, see, Adam Sandler insisted on cutting that out so that he could do this random song. I'm 100% sure that it's really him singing, because... Yeah, if in case you couldn't hear that in the background, we actually had the sound on for the first time ever. But yeah, Adam Sandler just does this really huge musical number that includes about 40 people. It's pretty intense, and it also has Veronica in a milkmaid outfit, I guess. Is that... It's
like a German, or a Swiss sexy Fraulein costume. Yeah. That's what that is, sexy Fraulein. The whole thing just... And I know it's like, come on, you're really analyzing Billy Madison and thinking these things. But, you do have to ask, what's the motivation?
Does it move the plot along at all?
Is there? Yeah, this is not like a tight script, where it's every word is essential.
I get the feeling that it was kind of a Dan Aykroyd project where they were like, all right, Adam, or whoever wrote it. I'm not sure who wrote it even. I didn't do research for this movie. I should have.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
But whoever wrote the movie, it's like, okay, you've got to dial this back. The insanity is too much. So I just have this picture in my head of a negotiation between Adam Sandler and the network, or a studio rather, where he's like, okay, I'll give you the nudity if I can have my song, and I can have the dead clown on the sidewalk who comes back to life inexplicably during my song number. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it was written by Adam Sandler.
Shocking.
It was co-written by Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And by Tim Hurley, who plays... He's one of the people. He's a person.
One of the Adam Sandler posse.
Yeah, he's like in the movie somewhere, I think.
Well, and Adam, he tended to put like a lot of the same people in his movies. You start noticing patterns of that in Big Daddy and a lot of his other films. But this is a great moment because the kids are actually the saving grace of Billy Madison, because they all go to Principal Anderson, a.k.a. the Blob's house. And he answers the door in his wrestler's costume and an open robe. It's so grody. And the kids are just like, Principal Anderson, were you lying about Billy? You need to tell the truth. And that's what changes the whole tune of the movie.
Well, the director apparently directed one short film segment of Britney, the videos.
Oh, thank God.
And it looks like a lot of television stuff, which is fine. Oh, holy crap. The same director directed Half Baked.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there you go. There's some street cred right there.
Yeah.
And, there's another great
moment. She directed the video to Bette Midler's From a Distance. That's pretty serious right there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's serious.
I'll take it. But we get a great moment, right? It's one of those throwaway moments, but it's actually very serious, where Eric finds out that the Principal Anderson, the Blob, went back on his post-officing of Billy Madison and said that he lied and he was bribed and whatever. And then Eric throws his remote control and basically puts his secretary in a coma.
Yeah.
And that's all you see of that moment. But it's like, okay, that got really serious really quickly.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was a bit. He's hit the secretary and she's in a coma now. Ha ha.
Yeah, and that's all there is to it. And they just move on. And now they're negotiating Billy going back to school and finishing the original deal, but Eric refuses and says, no, that wasn't what we agreed upon. That's not what we're doing. But then Billy turns around and challenges him and says, okay, I won't go back to school. We'll just do an academic decathlon, everything K through 12, and we'll do a big tournament. What do you say? And it's just the big throwdown.
I say that's a brilliant idea, sir.
I throw my gauntlet at you, sir. I slap you in the face with my glove.
Yeah,
and my academia.
It makes you ask the question: what gave Darren McGavin mesothelioma, the asbestos or this movie? I think you can't exclude it. You know, science. I don't think any real science has been done. You know, the correlation between Adam Sandler movies and cancer.
Is that what they're working on, the scientists these days?
I think they should.
Has there been an outbreak of cancer since Adam Sandler came into Hollywood?
As far as I know.
You better back it up with facts.
As far as I know, maybe.
All right, listeners, somebody do some research and get on this for us. We need a cause and effect relationship. Preferably not, because I love Adam Sandler, so Jason can just go jump in a creek. Or
I like certain things that Adam Sandler has done.
What are some of the things that you like?
I like some of his stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like some of his stand-up. You know, his early stand-up stuff. I love the Hanukkah song.
Everybody loves the Hanukkah song. That's so easy.
I don't think Orthodox Jews do.
Well, then that's their problem. But...
Oh, damn.
Is Adam Sandler considered Orthodox in any way, shape, or form? I really don't think so.
No. I think the Jewish faith has roundly disowned him.
Probably.
And said, yes, he's not one of us.
But we get a great moment here, which is so not family appropriate, where...
Oh, yeah, the Veronica's history lesson?
Yeah, she's strip quizzing him, where every time he gets a correct answer, she takes off an article of clothing.
The way she's dressed, it's like having Blossom doing this, you know?
Well, it's 1995, Jason. What did you expect? Yeah. And, yeah, so it's great when he's doing it with Veronica. It's inappropriate.
I had that hat, by the way.
Which hat are we talking about? Let's give the listeners a visual.
This sort of, it's not denim.
Oh, it's not denim, but it's blue and it's stitched like denim.
It's blue and it looks like denim.
It's mock denim.
I wish
kind of like pleather, but
yeah,
you know.
I wish I still had that hat.
Plenum.
I'd wear it.
Oh God, of course you would. But yeah, so you get the different study tactics of Eric and Billy, and Billy's trying to learn Spanish from the Madison palatial gardener who speaks Spanish at about a zillion miles a minute.
Wait, but that's a French book.
Yeah, it's a French book.
Okay.
It's not even. It sounds kind of. It's almost like a hodgepodge of Spanish, some sort of like Creole French.
Yeah,
it's like 40 different languages in one.
It's an Adam
paragraph.
Sandler movie. I got it.
Yeah, so it's just a hodgepodge. But then he gets a strip-tease quiz from none other than the late great Chris Farley, who's just sitting there in a tank top and stripping for Adam Sandler.
He died of a heart attack?
No,
I'm
surely not.
Shocked by that. You know?
I think he's got a sexier presentation than Veronica, though. He's like biting the finger.
He's more into it. Clearly,
he's shaking his hair out. It's fantastic. And the I guess this is a different principal or presenter,
superintendent.
No, he's the principal of the high school as opposed to Principal Anderson, who was the elementary school principal. Right. So it's the high school principal who's got this random bit where he's like, we're going to do this academic decathlon and cheating will not be accepted, unlike, from my wife, who's a huge whore. So you get those random throwaways.
And then, we have a montage.
Yes. Eric sets himself on fire making a pie. Eric wins this competition, then Billy wins that competition. Somehow they expect us to believe that Billy constructed a shoe out of this sort of scientific soup with
whatever. I know it's sort of like it's like.
And meanwhile, it's super obvious that he snuck his own boot into the pot. So it is just kind of a silly montage of them one-upping each other, and then you finally. Oh, and they have a Shakespeare section, which listeners, in case you didn't know. Jason and I, are we finally allowed to announce this project?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jason and I are actually involved in a Shakespeare project that's coming up in Alpharetta called Shakespeare in the Park through Act One Theater, and we will be participating as director and actress. So we'll actually
guess who's who.
I was going to say you'll never decide on which one. Oh, we just missed the O'Doyles going over the canyon, but that's great. So the O'Doyles are dead because they slip on that banana peel, like the foreshadowing I mentioned. But yes, so we will be doing Shakespeare in the Park. So any locals to Alpharetta who want to come and check us out, Jason,
that's going to be in May. And for more information, go to the Act One Theater website, which is act1theater.com, and that is the number 1, the Roman, or the Arabic numeral 1.
Oh, God.
Act 1 theater, period, COM, /
And if I tweet this website, don't believe me. Jason knows it better than I do, and I can't even get our email straight. So
yeah, but seriously, it's a real privilege and honor. We've got a great cast, and well, we do. I have to say that I was there for the auditions. It's egg on my face if they're bad.
I mean, I bring him beverages. That's why I get cast in things.
But we are doing Much Ado About Nothing, which is a great play. It's a fun summer play. So if you like to come out to the park and just enjoy some lovely Georgia weather in the summertime, or if you don't like that, we will be doing a couple of shows in the theater. Those dates are yet to be posted.
Awesome. Yeah, and that it kind of catches us up to the end of the movie because we're at the decathlon and Billy gets into that rambling. And I have to read off this quote from the principal because they ask Billy to explain a very difficult economic question about the state of the economic status of the country or something. I don't remember, but the principal, Billy basically compares it to that book that we talked about with the foreshadowing of the puppy who lost his way. And he's like, so the economy is like the puppy. And he ends, and it's like you get the feeling that it was a big, long speech, and then the principal just absolutely dumps on it because he says, Mr. Madison, what you've just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. And so,
yeah,
Billy only really comes out on top of this decathlon because Eric can't get
the business ethics
etiquette question correctly.
Yeah, so he does what you do when you want to end your movie. You just have a character pull a gun out.
Yeah, this movie goes completely off the rails and it's like we said, Happy Gilmore is a little more cohesive because it's the same storyline throughout. You know, none of this weird, crazy, like pull a gun or huge plot twist.
But it does allow for the redemption of the principal. He redeemed the principal from the middle school. Because he...
right. He in his blob uniform, he does attack Eric with the gun.
Yes.
And then Steve Buscemi reappears because Eric... Yeah, the blob knocks the gun out of Eric's hand, but then Eric regains control of the gun, and you think he's going to shoot Veronica. But then... What happens, Jason?
Well, he gets shot in the ass by Steve Buscemi,
who might still be wearing lipstick.
That's what I want on my tombstone. There's so many options.
Shot in the ass
he was shot in the ass by Steve Buscemi.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible.
That would be the best.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he shoots him in the ass with a high-powered rifle, and, movie physics says that just kind of makes him go owie and fall on the ground.
Yeah.
As opposed to, being paralyzed for life and pooping in a bag.
Meanwhile, Billy's friends are the only ones that didn't panic and run when the gun got shot off, and Norm and the other friend are just sitting there giving him a thumbs up.
and this is actually my favorite scene in the entire movie.
His official graduation scene?
Right, because it's like the last scene. It's almost over.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay, I thought you were going to come up with a good reason, and then you shot that nonsense off. So okay,
and blah 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 blah, and the movie's over. Okay,
that's more or less what happens. But
at this point, he's graduated.
Yeah, and that was the whole point of the movie. And of course, Miss Lippy's there along with the party clown that we thought died.
They're going to make little clown babies.
Gross. Is that more
half clown?
Is that more or less disturbing than Donkey Dragon babies from Shrek?
Oh, that's so much more disturbing.
Okay.
A half clown baby? Half human, half clown?
That'll be the next It. But, yeah, so Billy graduates, and he doesn't take over his father's company. He actually hands it over to Carl, who does not have a weasel laugh. And Carl goes insane and winds up living in Rachel and Monica's building from Friends. So that's what happens.
It all comes full circle.
It does. We tied it all together. But that was Billy Madison, listeners. And once again, we always appreciate you tuning in to our show. You can find us at Darth Jader at hindsightishorrifying.com. You can also find us on Twitter at Hindsight Horror. We tweet about our episodes. We tweet funny memes and stuff and articles about, facts that you didn't know about your favorite movies.
Oh, I want to make a plug for something real quick.
Okay.
And this is actually on a serious note. One of the people that I follow on Twitter is the actress Sherilyn Fenn, who, if you're a Twin Peaks fan, you know her. She was Audrey Horne in Twin Peaks.
But does she follow you back?
Actually, I don't know.
Probably not.
Well, she apparently this weekend there was a fire at her home, and her her home was completely destroyed.
Oh no!
And she has a whole post on there, and there's actually a GoFundMe right now. She's not trying to raise a ridiculous amount. I mean, I think she's trying to raise like $30,000, but apparently they're in fairly dire straits and living in an extended stay right now. And it's a whole sad story. So if you go on Twitter, go check it out. I donated. I mean, let's do what we can to help her out.
Awesome.
And Sherilyn, we're thinking of you.
Yeah, for sure, Cheryl. Hope you guys get back on your feet and everything gets better. You're in our thoughts and prayers. So, if you can, please go ahead and donate to that cause. That's very kind of you to mention, Jason. Especially after such a silly movie. Thanks for bringing us down on such a serious note. But Cheryl, we do hope you and your family. Sherilyn, I'm so sorry.
Cheryl's from Archer.
That's true. I keep changing her name in true Archer fashion, but we're thinking about you and hope everything winds up okay. But listeners, once again, thank you for tuning in. And we want to hear all about your opinions about shampoo versus conditioner. So get on Twitter and tell us all about it.
Bring it.
Until next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing your day, your evening, or drive time, or whatever it may have been. This is Hindsight is Horrifying, and we will see you next time.
Laters.